Good morning. I just come in from outside. I was picking grape leaves that have the skeletonizer caterpillars on. I've been putting them into the compost because the compost is far enough away that these caterpillars won't pupate and fly back to the grapevines. Some of the places were too high for me to reach, so I sprayed it with BT, and I'm not confident because they're so old. I mean, the caterpillars are big enough the BT doesn't affect them, only the young ones, and even that is iffy. So been hobbling around on my foot and getting stronger. The exercises, though, that I started last week since I'm out of the boot are extremely painful, and I can see why there's a problem with painkillers. So my thought against the pain is that holiness can remove all pain. It's a new thought to me. I didn't ever think about that. So we're giving it a go. So here's my meditation for Mother's Day. I, you know, Mother's Day is like not really a day anymore. Um, but I was in physical therapy last week, and the reporter on the radio was mentioning some research that was done on what mothers want for Mother's Day. First item was something that represented what the child thought of the mothers, like a heartfelt card or flowers. And so we have no heartfelt card or flowers that will make any difference in what she thinks of us now. It's cemented in stone. She always thought the most of us, the best of us, even when it didn't appear like that. I have a spoon, a wooden spoon that I wanted to pass along that she used to whack us, well, whack me anyways, when I had misbehaved. It wasn't much, it wasn't often, but it was still the same spoon she made that spaghetti with, and it didn't seem contradictory in my mind. Mom was the disciplinarian. Dad, we could do no wrong in his eyes, but Mom is gone now, but her memory is still with us. We mentioned her last week in our monthly phone call, family phone call. I had forgotten that Frank Burke was Grandma Kirk's dad, and that he had mentioned that great grandfather Burke died the year before Mom was born. I didn't know that. Pete was in Fallon looking for Mom's birth father's grave, Frank Hicks, with Paris on a recent visit there. He didn't find it, though. It was in Reno, and he said, I don't know where that thing is, and he looks down, and it's right under his feet. So Mom was born in Fallon in 1923. This was 6 years before the Walt Disney animated The Skeleton Dance. Now, this is hardly a representative bookmark.
It's 7 o'clock.
Oh, it's 7 o'clock. 7 a.m. on Sunday, this May 11th. So the only reason I went to that skeleton dance was because we have a little skeleton on my doctor's bone and joint business card. And I thought maybe it was from that movie, but it wasn't. I thought maybe it was from Grateful Dead, but it's not quite the same. I think it's custom. They had somebody do it for him. So about 2 years after Mom was born, she got polio. And she mentioned that she remembers running before that, but that would be the last memory of that for the rest of her life. The first known polio outbreak in the United States was in Vermont, 1894. I'm sure it happened before then, and why wasn't an epidemic? Well, apparently there's such a thing as maternal antibodies or something, that in the first month after birth, the child gets the antibodies or the immunization from the mother through the milk or, I guess it's through the milk because that's the only connection they have. So, so with that immunization, people had polio, but it wasn't widespread. What happened in the turn of the century that the children stopped drinking their mother's milk? I can't imagine that was a problem. But we see a trend that only the 2-year-olds and older, somewhere in there, that are starting to get it around Mom's Day. So put this in perspective. New York City, 1916, that's 9 years before Mom was born, they had over 9,000 cases and over 2,000 deaths. The nationwide was 27,000 and 6,000 deaths. This really spooked people because they'd never experienced it before. It was terrifying. They didn't know who was going to get it, how it was spread. They didn't know anything about the disease. And so when Mom got it, Grandma Kirk was spooked. She made a deal with God or something. I'm not quite sure what the deal was, but the fear of polio was a fear of something you had no defense against, something that hit without logic or reason. Yesterday it was a man down the block. Today it could be you or your children. And that just, I thought, man, I didn't understand how widespread the fear was. And by the 1950s, when Roosevelt may have had polio, we don't know, there's some dispute on that. Anyways, he had this March of Dimes, and people from all over the country collected their loose change, and Jonas Salk was a recipient of some of that money, and he found a vaccine for polio. I think it's curious to me that these are vaccines and they're not cures, but they just stimulate the body's immune system so that it can fight it. And well, I'm already 7 minutes in, so maybe I should wrap this up. If you have any questions? I actually have to go to the bathroom, so sorry. We'll let you go. Have a good day.